And we really show women that you don't have to look a certain type of way. You don't have to, it's really about how you feel. It's really about that. And our clothes reflect that. The types of messages that, I enjoy reading are, oh my God, I put on your dress and I feel like a bad bitch, or like I feel so good, or just whatever that may be. Like, they feel more powerful, and that drives us to do what we do in creating these products.
Okay, so we've got 5 chatty women in the room. Let's see if this podcast runs on time, shall we? So,
I love this.
3 sisters built a multi-million-dollar fashion empire. How on earth did this come about?
Where do we begin? Started above the garage.
At our parents' house back in 2012. It'll be our 9-year anniversary on October 24th.
It feels like 20 years, I'm not gonna lie.
It really does.
It feels like yesterday for me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, we started 9 years ago above the garage in Shirin's old bedroom. Love of fashion. We were all in completely different places professionally. I was unemployed at the time.
I had just gotten laid off from Getty Images.
Yeah, it was like the thick of the global, not the global crisis, but the economic crisis, the recession.
And I was working at an engineering company as a business system analyst.
Wow, so really different strengths.
Completely.
And I was songwriting as well. I just went wholeheartedly into songwriting. And then Shirin and Shida had started a fashion company about 1.5 years prior to Naked Wardrobe. And I just went into songwriting, and I didn't want to go into retail.
Have anything to do with it?
Yeah, and so it didn't get off the ground, and so we all went our separate ways. And 1.5 years later, they decided to come together and start another clothing brand. And at that time, Instagram had just launched. And they sat me down and they said, we want to give this another go, but we need you on board. And I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of hesitant. And my parents said, give it a shot, see what happens. If it becomes successful, you can do songwriting on the side. And so I'll let you take it from here.
I feel like for me, I've always had a love for fashion. And I studied fashion design in college, so it was kind of natural for me. I didn't want to just come out of college and just start my own line per se, just because of everything that was going My sister has my back. Just because it was a tricky time. It was a time where people were investing in business, but they weren't able to become successful just because of everything that was happening economically. So I knew that that's not what I wanted to do in terms of coming out of school and starting my own line. So I went and I worked in production actually for lingerie, and I loved what I learned there. I learned so much about manufacturing and just the whole process of importing and all those things and all the technical side of design. So after I came out of my job, I was super unhappy there. It was a family business that I was working for, and I just didn't like the environment. I didn't think it was healthy. So I took a step back and I was unemployed for a few months, and I decided one day while I was in bed watching Desperate Housewives that I wanted to go back into it and go back into fashion. And so I spoke to my sisters. Again, we were all in completely different places at that time. Professionally, so getting them on board with the vision. And so we started off just buying clothes in downtown in the wholesale district, and you at that time, and I'm sure still now, you only had to buy 6 garments, 6 pieces was the minimum per style. So we figured if we can buy 6 pieces, keep 1 or 2 or 3 of them depending on who liked what, we could sell the other pieces, and we could make this money to like look cute, and if it turns into this business, great, that was just a bonus. And so it started off that way. And even in the wholesale district, we were so incredibly particular and picky about what we bought. I remember going into every store and the salespeople always wanting to sell me like, oh, everyone's buying this. I was like, oh, well, I don't want that. I want something different. I want something unique. I want something that no one has or no one is thinking to buy. So it really started that way, and just being that particular about the brand even at that point in time. And then I don't think we ever imagined that it would turn into what it did. And I would say that we're incredibly lucky and blessed to be here and to see what the brand has grown into since then.
If you told us 9 years ago we would be sitting here 9 years later, I would not have believed you.
Well, Shida told me actually, like this was probably 3 months in, because from the first day that we launched, our friends and family all supported us. My not elementary school, she was my middle school best friend. She was like one of the first 3 orders that was placed on our website. So it was so many people supported us. We have such a great support system where we're from, excuse me. And so everyone really joined forces and came to, you know, really support our new endeavor. And gosh.
Yeah, you know, we did it, our family.
It spiraled after that.
You have so many thoughts, right?
I really do.
Yeah, our parents are such entrepreneurs, you know, like my mom is like such a business like person.
Savvy,
She's
very
She's an asset to any company.
Right, and my dad has tried so many different businesses. Like
And we've watched him.
Yeah, we've been always part of that. So we always kind of felt like we'd do a business or like kind of start, but we never thought that it would just.
Oh, that's what sorry, I lost my train of thought earlier. What I was gonna say was a couple months into it, Shida told me, she's like, if we can just make $400 a day, we're set.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I remember that.
okay, like that's a great goal. I remember we were like wholeheartedly like, wow, that would be like everything to us.
Yeah.
And
now
did you blow that out of the water when you launched?
And now just one order is $400.
Yeah,
So
no, it's
come a long way.
Before we kind of go on to that, I really want to ask, because what I'm really curious about is one, that your family really encouraged you to do it together, and two, that you even wanted to do it together in the first place. Like, were you like best friends growing up? Like, what were the dynamics of three sisters? Because
Wow.
your age, there's what, 6 years between?
There's a big gap. Yeah, there's a big
Yes.
gap.
2 with me, 4 with
Yeah, Shirin
you,
is
and
2 years.
6 with us.
Yeah. When we were younger, we always had garage sales and lemonade stands. And I remember when I was about, I want to say 9 or 10, Shida was holding a sign up for free lemonade. I was getting the money, obtaining the funds.
Free lemonade?
I'm sorry, not free lemonade.
Fresh lemonade.
Fresh
is what she
lemonade.
meant.
Sorry, I need my coffee. So when we were kids, Shida would hold up the sign, I would obtain and collect the funds, and Shirin would make fresh squeezed watermelon juice and all the fresh lemonade, everything you could think about that was
She's also a
refreshingly
chef
fresh.
in her-
And every
her
cup,
downtime.
every cup was 15 cents. And our quality was fresh juice. So even then, we were all about affordable quality.
Love telling people
And
that.
fast forward all these years later, we're executing and really reflecting that into our brand today.
Yeah, our parents are so very conscious of having us be like on the same
Incredibly
level.
close. Yeah,
Like, very
equal.
close and equal. Very, very, like I know my mom in particular, like if she buys us something, she'll buy it for all three of us. You know, she doesn't ever want, she just wants us all to feel like on the same levels.
Or to not debate or argue, like, why did you get that?
No,
I'm kidding.
No, well, you know, no family's perfect. Everyone
Right.
has their flaws or their disagreements. But I think for my mom, she was like, if I could do one thing and just kind of keep you guys as close and together as possible, you guys can conquer anything. And that's really been, you know, how we've been raised. And so it's a reflection of how we do business together. We always get asked that question, like, how is it like working together? And we're always like, the fact that we play completely different roles, over time we have overlapped a little bit, but that was because we've asked it. And I think for me in particular, I've always been into the design and production aspect of the business. And I got to a point where I was so overwhelmed that I was like, Shirin, I need your help with that. Like, come sit in fittings with me. And even though she's the techie side of the business, I was like, she's such a creative Gemini. She's such a visionary that I really wanted to bring her in and get her eye and get her opinion on things. And even with Shida, like when it comes to PR, she'll drag me, well, not drag me, but she'll ask me to come and, you know, help and give my opinion with things too. And I think we respect each other and we respect the lanes that we're in, but we know when to be there for each other and to really just be an anchor to one another in the business.
We're a very close unit and team. I mean, we'll bicker, we're sisters at the end of the day, but we're so passionate about what we do and our love for the brand. And sorry.
That supersedes
I'm
everything.
slipping
The love for the
on my own words, but we know each other's strengths and weaknesses.
What was the point in the business where you felt like, oh, this could actually be a real thing? We could make more than $400 a day.
When Carmen Electra wore Naked Wardrobe.
That's when you.
How far into the business was that?
About a year or less, I want to say.
I feel like for me, I felt that way maybe 6 months into the business. It didn't take me a year to get to that point. We started sending out packages to different celebrities. Of course, being born and raised in LA, we had a lot of connections, knew a lot of people, a lot of celebrities live out here. And so once we started to hit the ground running with that, we realized that we didn't want to just buy from the wholesale district anymore. We wanted to really create our own brand. And so we did that, and we put our everything into these products that we were developing. And so seeing people wearing the brand and really respecting what we were doing, I think that was the pivoting point for me personally, where I was like, wow, this is something that we really have to hone in on and develop and really build upon. And so for me personally, I think that was the moment that I realized that we have something special.
Yeah, I mean, I always felt like there was potential, but to be honest, I kept my day job for 3 years into the business.
did?
Yeah, I didn't quit my job
Worked
until like
2 shifts.
yeah, because I just never knew. You just didn't know what was gonna happen. So I knew there was potential. I just kept putting my literally 2 shifts, full-time job doing this, full-time
Work
job.
a night shift.
Yeah.
I think that's actually something that a lot of founders do, which actually goes unspoken. I was the same. We started in February 2018. I didn't give up chiropractic, so I was doing chiropractic in the UK until September 2019.
Wow.
So I kept
See,
it
there
all
was the
that
overlap.
time, and
Yeah.
Natalie was full time, and I would do it as like the side hustle at the weekend.
That was
those
cheating
pieces.
for us.
But you guys were full time.
We were full
Full-time.
time. Also, going back to the question, I thought you meant when a celebrity was wearing it, but when I really felt it hit me was when we outgrew the space that we started in, and we had to transition into another warehouse. That to me was when I knew that, wow,
This is
this
bigger
can
than-
keep growing, and we can outgrow that building and keep this momentum going.
Okay, so let's go back to that journey. So it's 2012, you've decided to set up this fashion company. You're like, we just need $400 a day. You launch.
And we're set.
Yeah, that's all we need, right, guys? Let's go. You launch, and within 6 months, it was starting to be featured by celebrities.
I would say something like
I
that.
don't remember.
I want to say
6
within
months.
that 6 months to a year. I can't remember.
Yeah,
It's been
it
so
was roughly
long.
6 months.
I
Yeah,
don't
and you know
That's a good
Jesse
question.
James Decker wore the brand at that point. Yeah, it happened very quickly.
So
it
I
did.
want to understand, how intentional was that? Because you mentioned that you were in LA, you knew people. Is that what your marketing strategy was getting off this ground? You were like, right, this is what we're going to focus on.
Not at all.
We were
Not
more
at all.
focused on the product,
That
the
was
products
our-
at hand. We wanted to make sure that when the celebrities started wearing it, that was when we were buying, and we realized that we had to do something different and step
That's what
back,
it was.
because if she's wearing something we purchased, then other people can claim that.
Which
And
people were, which other competitors of ours
so
were.
we had to sit back and reevaluate everything and really pivot the brand and start curating our own collections exclusively.
And so, what was that marketing strategy for the beginning? Because for a lot of people, when they start a company, they could only dream of having celebrities in their clothes and that level of demand. But it sounds like from the get-go, you had your strategy dialed in. What did that look like?
I think for me personally, when it comes to the brand, seeing celebrities wearing it wasn't like, oh my God, the celebrity's wearing the brand. It was more so, oh my goodness, we didn't pay this celebrity to wear this brand. They chose to wear this brand. We must be doing something right. Let's continue to really focus on the quality of the product, and let's continue to let the product speak for itself. I think that's really what it was. It wasn't more so like, oh, is Jennifer Lopez wearing naked wardrobe? It's, oh my God, Jennifer Lopez has access to any designer, anything out there, and she's choosing to wear naked wardrobe on a daily basis. So I think that was just something rewarding for us to know that everything that we were putting into the brand that we thought was laying out the foundation of the brand was rightfully so.
That's such a smart reframe, actually, that a lot of people miss. I think they really focus on that marketing, but do forget that when you have a quality product, even if sometimes it's a little bit slower to get off the ground, those customers will keep coming back to you.
Right.
They'll spread that word of mouth. They'll post about it because they
Exactly.
enjoy it.
That's
And
exactly
really,
what
hone
it
in
is.
on that.
That's
I think that's the core of our brand.
That's the core
the
of our
organic growth and kind of having that organic business and the customers coming. From the beginning, we were lucky enough to get on social media early. We were one of the first brands on it, so we kind of utilize that platform to kind of grow our business and use our customers to help us grow word of mouth. You know, posting something and then
We've
seeing it
never
grow.
paid for marketing, essentially. I mean, I think we started putting up some billboards, what was it, like 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
Before then, we had never paid anyone to wear the brand, post the brand. It really
we still don't.
truly was, yeah, we still don't. It truly is organic and authentic. Even some of my girlfriends that are influencers that get paid by, our competitors, they even wear naked wardrobe when they post, because they're like, I just love the way your stuff fits, and I can't find something on so-and-so's website, so I obviously still have to take this picture. So they do. And these other brands, they're not focused on quality, they're focused on quantity, and they produce so many SKUs and so many products that they wouldn't even be able to tell whether you were wearing their brand or not. But for us, with the beauty, like, we'll be scrolling through social media and I'll be like, oh my God, that's our body. Like, I know it, because I'm in every fitting. I pick the fabric. I'm so heavily involved, and I know Shirin is too. And even Shida, we always like loop her in and reel her in on what we're doing product wise. Each one is our baby. So I think that's like the end result and the end product that people see and they have appreciation for. It's really what we've put into the product and the brand.
We don't want to just be a lifestyle brand. We want to be here for many, many years to come, and that's why we're doing what we're doing now, to make sure that
our foundation is right.
Yeah, the foundation is right, and for us to be an everlasting brand.
Absolutely.
So what I'm really curious about is, you were talking about your roles differing so much. I would love to hear from each of you what your role was when the company first started and how that's evolved to now.
Fun
because
times.
We've only been in business for 3 years now. 3.5. And I feel like we've already changed roles so many times. We wear so many hats. And so I'd love to hear over 9 years what that's looked
we
like.
did
So let's start with
everything.
you.
Everything from
seriously.
customer service to buying to
Pulling,
and
picking, packing,
We
shipping.
did it all
Done it all,
with our
yeah.
grandparents.
When I
It
started,
was a family affair.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a family affair initially. My grandma would help us, unbag things and help clean up. My dad would help us pack and label packages, and it was just it was
Mom would come and do the night shift and make sure everything was organized. She was working 6 a.m. to like 10 p.m.
My mom's an OCD organizer.
And she would come in the morning at night and clean everything.
She
That way
would.
it was ready and organized for the next day.
Yeah,
so
no,
we
we
were all
did it
just,
all.
and
When it
Shirin
came-
was also the photographer the first 6
Oh
months.
yes, fun fact.
starting out, I was the photographer.
techie? Was
The
she
She
techie.
was a photographer.
Yeah.
So Shirin, what
She didn't even know how to use a camera, just an FYI.
No, I had no idea how to use a camera. My dad's friend had a camera shop, so he gave us a camera and some umbrellas, and I was like, yeah, I got it. It works. Let's do this. And started out that way. Yeah.
Our cousin was the model.
Yes.
She was an attorney by day, and she would become model at night. And it was
A family affair,
I
really.
honestly forget sometimes where it all started.
Yeah.
But one of my girlfriends actually, I just not helped her, but was there for her to guide her and just with any questions that she had with starting her own business. And so I was kind of laying out the foundation. I was like, you need this printer, you need this, you need that. And me and Shirin were helping her get set up, and it literally took me back. I was like, oh my God, I remember I had this printer and it would stop working every 5 minutes, and she was like, the same thing's happening to me. And it just took me back to that moment where we used to do it all.
hands-on,
Yeah,
where it all
so
started.
hands-on. Not that we're not. I think even now we're so incredibly hands-on, which is why we've been able to differentiate ourselves, I think, within this sector. But really thinking about where we came from and how it all started, it's surreal. It really is. But we did it all. It was important that we knew every avenue of the business. That way, once it scaled up and it grew, we knew how to tailor it or pivot as needed.
And I feel like there's a lot of family businesses out there. How have you maintained a relationship as sisters and a relationship as co-workers?
When we're together, we're always talking business, but then we'll talk personal. We mix it, but at the end of the day,
Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to hear it. No more business. It has to shut off, because also I am a workaholic. My brain is 24/7. We run an e-com brand, so it is 24/7. But when we're together, sometimes I'm like, no, I don't want to hear, we got to turn it off for 30 minutes.
Right.
But it's so easy for us. I feel like it's the transition from work. We even lived together up until
we did.
recently. So
Tell me that story.
I know you want to hear.
before I met my husband, yes.
Why didn't you guys have a TV show when you were living
We've
together?
been approached by hundreds
Still.
of production companies, but it's cancel culture. culture, so you gotta also be, really careful about what you put out there. And we're super raw and authentic, and I can't imagine being in front of a camera 24/7.
I don't feel like anyone would like me after a camera in my face.
Our father would be great in front of the camera.
Yeah.
He's the comedian of the family.
No, we would actually, people that know us tell us that all the time. We have such different personalities, every single one of us, so it would make for great TV. But I think that the beauty about us is that we are a little bit on the back end of things, and that we didn't want everything out there. We really wanted the brand to be the focus, and for people to have that deep appreciation and love for what we do in the product line. So
So going back to your question of us living together, I think I was 30. I moved out, and everyone was.
I screamed
so
bloody
upset
murder
Because you were living
I was
out.
like, well, I'm a crybaby cancer.
Because the bird left the nest.
So I was like, oh my God,
was
is
30.
one person
I was
is
30.
missing from our 5-unit family.
Wait,
Like,
so you were living with your parents?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we were.
were.
And
Parents.
I sat my parents and Shida down, and I said, let Shirin go live
My
her
dad
life
didn't
and
talk to me for like
experience.
3 months.
okay, he's also a cancer, so
Yeah.
he's incredibly sensitive, but
What's your mum?
she's a Scorpio.
So she's like,
She's
go.
a BS.
You got this.
But after
She's-
6
Yeah.
months, when she moved out, we purchased our first house together, our first home.
So yes, we did come back again, but initially just, we're just such a tight-knit family that even when one person wasn't home at that time, the energy of the house just seemed like not as high, and it just like, I felt like something was missing every time. And so when she told me she was moving out, I was like, no, like you can't go. But she did, she went, and then yes, we ended up buying a house. We're also into real estate, that's our side hustle, and something that we're incredibly passionate about. Our parents have always been into it. So we were looking for a house at that time. It was actually a few years we were looking.
She
Finally,
couldn't
we
be
found one.
apart from Shirin.
So we found a house, and we all moved in together, and my fiance at the time actually as well, all 4 of us moved in together, and we had a blast until we slowly but surely all went our separate ways.
Right.
Yeah, Shida moved out first, and then
I
I
did.
moved out, and then
She moved out with her fiance.
I did.
And then she moved out with her fiance.
my boyfriend. Well, my boyfriend
your
then fiance.
boyfriend,
yeah.
right?
Not my husband.
And then they left me alone.
We didn't leave you alone. Your best friend moved in. She was living with you.
And she moved in, and then
You're right.
And then me and you ended up moving in together.
Once I was single again, I was like, why don't you come move in with me, and we can, either sell the property that you're in or rent it out, something, obviously to go with our real estate business. And she ended up moving in, and we lived together for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years together.
Which is great because we work together. I mean, some people would say this is like torture, but we would work together at work and then come home and still work. And
I just didn't
it was
turn
just
off.
a lot easier that way
But
for me.
she's a great roommate, the best of the best.
And a great
She
chef.
cleans, she cooks, and she's so to herself. She just will go in her room. She's she just does her own thing, and I'm very I want to be around my friends all the time. What's going on? Every night I'm I need plans. So it was a great dynamic. When all 3 of us lived together, it was a great dynamic, and when me and Shirin were together, it was lovely too.
So I'm assuming, like you say, great dynamics, but let's be honest, in business, whether it's your sisters or not sisters, being co-founders involves a lot of good communication. There's going to be times when you're like, no, I just really disagree with this. I don't think this is the way we should do something. What are some of the biggest challenges you've had with your relationship in terms of business and the direction that you take your company in?
God, challenge.
I would say turning it off. Not really a
I
challenge.
feel like when it comes
but-
to our dynamic, that we really don't have challenges because
I think we just know each other so
We do.
well.
We
and
know how to navigate.
Yeah, we know buttons to push, and we just
And what buttons not to push.
and what buttons not to push, and we just know. And we know when it comes to our business, that's what's really important. And
we
just
all
kind
have
of,
the same common
goal
in mind when it comes to the brand. So I feel like we always come in from that angle of it. But usually if there is some type of challenge or disagreement upon us, we like to go 2 against, 1. We're
majority rules.
Majority rules. Which 2 people agree, that's what we're going to go with. The third person must be wrong here,
We try to convince the other why or why not we should or shouldn't do something.
But I feel like that kind of goes back to our family values and just how we were raised. We're so respectful of each other. I feel like that doesn't mean we're perfect and we can't get disrespectful sometimes because we're sisters. It happens, but I think 99% of the time, truly, we really get along. And it's because we really understand each other. We know each other's strengths, weaknesses, what annoys one another. And so I think that we play on those things.
We always talk about BossBabe being like our baby, and it's like you have to do best by the baby. It's not about either one of us.
It's not personal.
Ego, nothing like that. It's
Leave
like
it
how
at
do we
the
take
door.
care of this baby as best as possible?
That's
nurture it.
exactly how we operate our business.
Yeah.
I couldn't have put it into better words. That's exactly how it goes for us. It's our child, it's our baby. What's best for our baby? It's not for me, it's not for her. We're so different in our own personal lives and our style and just so many different factors of our own lives that we can't bring our personal business into the company. I feel like we leave that at the door.
And even thinking about the company today, we even ask ourselves, how can we continue to make the brand grow? And even then we sit down and talk, because no matter where you are in life, there's always room to grow, room to expand.
Yeah, you can't get too comfortable.
And you don't want to get comfortable.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, like, how do you stay relevant? Because I feel like the fashion industry is always changing, and like you said, like people copying you, you're like, oh, like I'm seeing this style, let's just make this. How do you stay relevant so that customers keep coming back, but then you attract new customers as well?
I mean, it's really the product. It really boils down to the product and creating something that's timeless, that's classic, that's affordable, that's high quality. Also, Shirin, being so creative, she's always adamant about not following trends, and she always wants to thank you. She always wants to make sure that we're doing, that we're creating the trends and that we're setting the tone. And so being ahead is really our key point, and just making sure that we practice those things when it comes to business.
And we also want it to be as accessible as possible, but selectively. And Naked Wardrobe is also in all Nordstrom stores and Macy's, and we're actually discussing expanding internationally and establishing wholesale partnerships as well. So we're looking to really take over the world, I want to say. That's our goal.
We want to go throughout the consumer's life, whether it's, them being single, whether it's them being career driven, whether it's them being a mother, whether it's them having children, whatever that may be. We just want to make sure that our product offering reflects wherever they're going throughout their lives. So I feel like having those things in mind too, you won't forget about us throughout your life.
And talk to me a little bit about your Instagram strategy. So you got on there early. It's obviously been a big needle mover for your business. What did you do right then, and what have you continued to do to iterate?
I think for us, the most important thing that we've done right is remaining organic and really not feeding into, not that the influencer realm isn't powerful, because it's incredibly powerful. We've seen it firsthand. And again, we know so many people within that business, and so it's very much a part of the world that we live in. However, I think for us, just even being from the consumer side of it, when you're scrolling and you see so and so posting about this brand, you almost don't. Now. It's not like it was 7 years ago where you're like, oh, I need that, she loves that. Now, when someone posts something, you're like, well, do they actually love it, or did they just, put it on, take a picture, and take it right off? So being authentic in that way, and really having people post about the brand and want to share with their users about the brand, I think has been incredibly important in our strategy. But Instagram is such a powerful tool, the most powerful tool, I would say, across the board for any company, for any brand, within any sector. So really, it's just truly being organic. That's like the main thing for us, and creating really great fresh content that's attainable for the user, that they can recreate, that they can get excited about, that they can insert themselves into, being relatable to the user, inspiring the users. I think that's the most important thing.
And when we first launched back in 2012, one of our early conversations, when they said, Shida, you have to come on board, and I was hesitant. I said, I'll come on board on one condition. And they said, what's your condition? And I remember at that time, so many heavy hitters, their models were so frail and so they looked unhealthy, and it just didn't sit right with me.
Well, that was fashion.
That
was what fashion was.
That's what fashion was, but I also knew there were so many women having eating disorders because they thought that's what beauty reflects and what beauty is. So I sat down with my sisters and I said, if we do this, we have to bring on models that are relatable, that are healthy, that eat, that have curves, and just be diverse. Some can have curves and some don't need to, but just to have a good...
we have such different body types. Us
Yes.
three.
Yeah.
We always
Exactly.
say that, but it's true. It's a fact. We have completely different body types. So being able to reflect that into the brand
was so
and the image
so
of the
important.
brand.
And
Absolutely.
so we all agreed on that, and here we are today.
Yeah, you see so many fuller figured models now. There's such a
Embrace your body.
Yeah, it's such a powerful moment, and I think that social media and that platform is so incredibly heavy, and it can be so influential to the users that it's important that we put the right message out, and it's important that we use our platform and we really show women that you don't have to look a certain type of way. You don't have to. It's really about how you feel. It's really about that, and our clothes reflect that. The types of messages that I enjoy reading are, oh my God, I put on your dress and I feel like a bad bitch, or like I feel so good, or just whatever that may be. Like they feel more powerful, and that drives us to do what we do in creating these products and just making sure that we maintain everything that we've promised to put out there when it comes to our brand.
I think that's just so powerful, and from the conversation that we're having here today, I'm just really hearing that you went into this with very clear values that you haven't compromised on. Whether it's like how you treat yourselves or the message that you want for your consumers, and you went in with an uncompromisable, like, this is what our product is, this is the quality that we're going to produce over and over again.
Absolutely.
And I think when you have those values and that putting that product first, I think it's important for those to remember they're doing that, but they don't always seem like that lift straight away, those results. Like, keep going in that, because it takes time. But like you said earlier, you're building strong foundations. And I think that's what really matters with businesses. Businesses actually really come and go. That's my actually I didn't realize that, I don't think, before I was an entrepreneur. How many businesses will come, they will fail, and they will go. You have to think, okay, if I want to build this for the long term, what do I need in place to make sure I always have customers coming back and,
absolutely
have a good reputation?
I think for us, we were incredibly lucky that we had a lot of people around us that we saw have really lucrative, successful businesses, and all of a sudden they crashed and they burned. And being able to see them go from this high to this low, we always want to humble ourselves. Even our mom, she reminds us once a week, like, don't think just because you're hot right now, you can't be cold tomorrow. Just make sure that you're always cautious of everything around you. And so I think that that's something that we've been instilled with, and it's incredibly real. And as an entrepreneur, you really have to leave your ego at the door. You have to leave your pride there. You have to leave all that there and just really focus on what it is and continuing to pivot as needed. I mean, even through quarantine, right before everything that happened with COVID, we had decided we wanted to, everyone was going out, the influencers, it was just a moment of everyone being out all the time. There was always an event, there was always something to do. So we're like, okay, let's repivot. Let's, of course we have our core basics, but how can we add layers? So we were going to do these going out pieces and these statement pieces, as we called them. They were sequins, they were crystals, it was just, stuff that you wanted to go out, and just, have a good time in. And then literally COVID hit, and we were like, okay, repivot. And just making sure that you do those things and you react in such a way when need be. I think those things will help prevent you from that failure. But also something that I'm incredibly aware of is that failure is always an option, and I'm never fearful to fail. I actually encourage it because I want to learn what I did wrong, and I want to rebuild, and I want to strengthen that aspect. And so I think for me personally, it's not a fear that I have, and it's something that you really have to go through. I mean, Shida mentioned earlier, we had started this same business a couple years before Naked Wardrobe, and we failed at it. We couldn't get it off the ground. We couldn't get our website up and running. We couldn't do it. And we failed, and when we came back again, we were like, okay, these were the things we did wrong, and we made sure that we didn't repeat those mistakes. And so it's part of the process. It really is. It's part of the process, and I always encourage women to not be scared of failure. And unless you take that leap of faith, you're not going to get that big outcome that you're envisioning.
What do you think your biggest failures have been?
Wow.
Our biggest failures. One more time. I'm sorry.
Big question.
What do you think your biggest failures have been? What are things that you're like, wow, this was really freaking humbling and really hard?
I don't know about humbling and hard, but what I was going to say when it comes to failure was that we were so adamant about not being in the forefront of the business and being so almost secretive. We just didn't want to put ourselves out there. Shida had a fear of an angry customer who's showing up to her door, just something going wrong. No, listen.
Just letting the business be.
Yes,
the business.
there's so many fears. It is a scary world we live in. You know, let's be honest here. You just never know. And so if you piss off the wrong person or you upset the wrong person,
that's true.
You just never know what can happen. And so she was like, I just don't want anyone to know that I'm involved with this brand. And then that was kind of the beginning of Naked Wardrobe. And as things grew, we noticed how important it was to really put ourselves out there, to show other women that we can do it, that we are all capable, and really empower women and send that message out. And so I think the failure, I would say, is that we didn't do it sooner, and that we didn't share with people even from the beginning of our journey, and that they kind of missed the first half of it, because that was really the funnest, most exciting, most difficult part of our journey. And so I think that not being able to share that was probably it.
But we can share it now.
And so talk to us a little bit about where your business is now. So we've heard so much of where you started above the garage. Talk to us about now. What does your team look like? What does your space look like? What do you each work on a daily basis?
Sure. Who wants to take the lead?
We all wear a lot of hats.
I would say when it comes to our team, it's as important to us as everything else with the brand, the DNA of the brand. I mean, something that we continue to stress on a daily basis is we want everyone to enjoy working at Naked Wardrobe. We want a healthy environment. I mentioned earlier that I quit my job before Naked Wardrobe because it was an unhealthy environment. I think for us, and you know, Shirin working in corporate and even Shida working in corporate prior, we didn't want that environment necessarily. We wanted it to be more of a family business. Even as big as we are, we still run it that way. We still run it like a family business. I'm incredibly close with everyone on my team. We're so involved, and I think it's so important to us that they all get along and that they really understand that we're nothing without them, and that without them, this thing would just crumble. And so being able to share this moment with them, I think is really important for us.
Yeah, we've been really lucky. We have a great team that like has our back, who
they love the business as much as us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they too call it their baby, you know.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So it's just very important. It's very hard to find really good people to bring into your
absolutely
take care of your baby,
your business.
Yeah, but yeah.
It took years. It took years to get to, for me personally, to get comfortable with delegating and not doing so much of it myself and not taking on every little thing, because I do wear a lot of hats. I do. For the first
5 years, 6 years.
6 years, I was designing all by myself, and so doing social media, and just also the business side of things. I'm so involved with that.
You're at photo shoots all the time too.
Oh yeah, no, I did too much, and I got really burnt out, and so she didn't really like sat me down, and she's like, you got to learn to delegate. We have a great team. Don't be scared to trust them. And so
yeah, and it's important to us. Like you can make a mistake. We'll learn from our mistakes, and like. I was like, just let go.
And I can be more valuable in other places. My expertise may lie somewhere else. And so having that time and that being able to kind of pass those things off and have help with them allowed me to focus more so on other things. For example, like being here today with you girls. If this was a few years ago, I wouldn't have had the time to be able to sit here and share my journey. And so I think that being able to really branch out and send... I think for us, it's really important that we not pave the way, but send the ladder down and help other women and inspire other women to start their own businesses and guide them and consult and whatever that may look like. And so being able to sit here with you ladies, that's such a part of that journey for us. So having that freedom to do so, it's been exciting.
And how big is your team now?
We're about 50 people in the
plus,
office, and then we have about, I would say, 30 external.
Wow, so really big team. So
I was like, it's so small. I feel like it's so small still. Everyone always goes, wow, you guys are so small for what you guys do. We're like,
And we outgrew our current space, so now we're looking for an even bigger facility. So we've been looking for
good
years.
Problems, good growing pains.
There's great yes.
So quick fire around the table, what your roles look like now, what each of you do, and what you own.
I handle and oversee HR, from overseeing what is on the website, from copywriting to making sure everything is running smoothly. What else do I do? Marketing, PR.
I
my
recently
God.
brought her into international wholesale.
Yeah.
I was like, I need you to help with that, because also I think
Running
it's
that
important
ship.
that when we, bring
It's a
on new
beast.
partnerships, that us three are personally involved with those, and we're able to really show the message and really tell our story. So that's a new
I'm wearing like
New
10
task.
hats. Yeah.
new hat you're wearing.
I don't know what I'm not doing. Let's just put it that way. But I'm so grateful and so blessed. I love working with my
Absolutely.
sisters, and we just spoke about our team. They're exceptional and so amazing, and I'm just grateful all around.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just the hat. That,
You do all things IT and operations.
I do
So that's-
IT operations. I'm in production.
Website
she's-
design, everything you see from the
does
tagging,
graphics.
the graphics, the poly mailers. She designs everything.
Yeah, I
You
just like
see.
to have my hand in everything, every department, and just make them all function and work together. It's just my favorite thing to do.
But also, she's such a creative again. So it's having that,
mindset.
not even the mindset, just making sure that whatever we put out is a reflection of what we see Naked Wardrobe as. And so just being incredibly hands-on. I think that even something down to like doing the graphics for the homepage, she's like, no, I want to do it.
But like we'll work on that together, like the tagline, the slogan.
Yeah, she'll send it. She'll be like, what do you think? Like, does this look good? Like, should I change the font? What do you...
And she'll text me at 1 o'clock in the
Still
morning.
doing it.
Yeah, she'll text me at 1 o'clock in the morning. Did you come up with the idea? I'm like, I'm sleeping.
We enjoy
But we
it.
love it
We
at the end of
enjoy
the
it.
day. We're always on, our minds are always working, honestly.
And then, of course, I'm all things design, production, and even social.
I love that. I love how you guys divide and conquer. That's like nothing.
That's-
but you've
that's
got an
the
eye
goal.
on everything.
Oh,
definitely.
definitely.
yes.
Definitely. 100%.
We get that from our mom.
Yeah. Oh.
She has eyes like on the back of her head,
Yes.
on her arms. She will literally call me, or not call me, but she'll text me at like 3 o'clock in the morning. She'll be like, "Oh, there's a letter off in your caption," or so like something. Like she's just on top
My
of
mom's like that.
everything.
Yeah.
Big Scorpio energy, but
Yeah.
she's on top of everything. It's
watching
awesome.
out.
Yeah, so we've learned from her to really take on a little bit of everything and being able to juggle it.
And also another thing that we will be doing come this winter, we'll be going on a Nordstrom tour. So we'll be traveling and visiting different Nordstrom stores, meeting our clients, doing fittings.
We're super excited
and
about
just
that.
so many things in between. So we'll be planning to do that on top of everything we just said.
I love that. Well, listen, you guys have built such an inspiring brand, and I love the
Thank
values
you.
that it sits on. For those people that have been listening today and felt really inspired, where can they find your products, find you guys? You want to give your social handles?
Sure, my social handle is Shideh K, and we are
Do you want to spell it? Do you want to spell it?
SHIDEHK.
We can put links there. We'll put links.
You can shop our brand on our website, nakedwardrobe.com, and of course we are available, as Shida mentioned, on Macy's.com, on Nordstrom.com. We're in all Nordstrom stores and
Macy's.
150 Macy's stores.
A Macy's store near you.
Yeah,
I love that.
with a wink.
With a wink. I'm Shida. My Instagram handle is Shida was here. SHIDA
Yes,
was
she
here.
was.
I got that from the Beyonce song. I was here.
I never knew
I
that.
love
knew that
that
either.
song so much that
Fun fact.
I since the beginning, Shida was here.
I have the best name. My name is Naked Shirin.
Nailed it. Yeah, you did.
You win.
I had like a whiskey or two, and I came home one night and I was like, "This is my new name." That's
We're
my
here
new
for
name.
it. We're
Thank
here
you.
for
Always
it.
here for it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having us.
Thanks for
Thank you
having us,
having
ladies.
us.